Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of their upcoming game matchups. So, this weekend, the Texans will be at home taking on the Indianapolis Colts in a rematch of Week 1, and it's also going to be a game where they'll be honoring Hall of Fame wide receiver Andre Johnson, Houston Texans legend. They'll be honoring him for his Hall of Fame induction this weekend. And so it's going to be coming off a tough loss to the Green Bay Packers. And, to redeem that, Texans going to have to do a few things in this game against the Colts. But we'll get into all that, what they need to do. First off, let's just go ahead and do a little recap over the Green Bay loss. So a few things that I really just kind of took away from this game. And let's just start with the elephant in the room, no pun intended, the O-line. Um, it just met a really I thought it met a really good pass rush, but still an inexcusable way or an inexcusable performance, mind you, against said pass rush. Green Bay, they just saying they had different blitz schemes lined up, and it worked. You know what I'm saying? Um, it worked. Like C.J. Stroud, he ended up throwing for under 100 yards, and one of his lowest his lowest passing yardage total in his career so far. Um, you know what I'm saying? We just couldn't get nothing done offensively. The brightest spot on offense was the running game, but I'll get into that in a few. But the O line was just bad, and it wasn't even penalties this time. We I probably would have traded a sack for a penalty, but who knows if that would have got us into even more trouble. But yeah, 4 sacks given up by the Houston Texans O line, and it's caused quite the stir throughout the week. So I'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. Um, Running game did well despite the failure of the pass protection. Joe Mixon had 25 carries for 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. Damian Pierce didn't have the game, um, that I thought he would. He kind of did have a similar game, last week, just kind of minuscule on the yardage until he had that one big play last week in the Patriots game. Kind of similar here in this Packers game. Just kind of minuscule yardage, but he didn't have that big play. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have that burst, that 50 yard or 20 yard or whatever if you want. It was just really kind of no, it was just kind of whatever with him. So yeah, that was how his day went. But overall, Joe Mixon was really just the bright spot. Others, entire offense. Defense showed out. Caleb Bullock, he ended up getting an interception, things like that. So um, defense and running game really just kind of kept us in this game all the way up until the end, which which surprisingly would have been a bigger issue had it not been for the O line, for the O line's mistakes. But um, so yeah, the Texans are down 21-19. Um, they're driving, they're in a chance to kick a field goal, win the game, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 15. You know, whatever happened, I can't remember exactly the sack or whatever, but all of a sudden we get to 3rd and 15. Um, and you're thinking that the smart thing to do is for the Texans to run the ball, either force Green Bay to use that timeout or force them to saying have a clock run down. I think either to the 2 minute warning or close to the 2 minute warning. So instead of running the ball on that down to even like line up the football, they throw the football and it's incomplete. So the clock stops. It's fourth down, 4th and 15. Clock is stopped way before the 2 minute warning. So Texans have to go in and kick the field goal. So that's another couple seconds off. Then another clock stoppage. So this whole time, just the clock is stopped twice or whatever. And throughout the week, aside from the obvious of what's been discussed, that call was kind of discussed a little bit by the players. A couple of clips shown, and to be honest with you, um, that was probably bigger than whatever the offensive line got us triggered about. Because it was a chance to really just win that game. That was really a chance to like kind of increase our chances of winning that game. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of escaping with that win. Because that's if we was gonna win that game, we were gonna escape with it. We didn't really play great. We didn't play good at all. You know what I'm saying? And so hence why we lost. But if we'd have won that game despite playing the way we played, it would have been an escape. So um, that was just a bad call near the end, and it kind of really just set the Packers up to just go ahead and kick their game winning field goal and just take that game away from us. So, to me personally, I think it's a lesson learned. This whole game is a lesson learned, um, not just for the coaches on, obviously you should have, what I'm saying, not threw the ball, but, and you can't be aggressive in too many instances, but also, it's just a lesson learned for the players is like, what I'm saying, you got to show up. You can't, like, you just got to show up. You got to win your battles. You know what I'm saying? You got to win what's in front of you, and hopefully it's not just, what a lesson that's learned, what I'm saying, for stuff they do in the game, but hopefully it's a lesson learned and, what they prepare for, what they need to look for, what I'm saying, just their preparation overall so they don't make these same mistakes again. So that's all the take I got from that game. Now, to talk about the O line, which has been a hot topic. Mm, it's been a hot topic for pretty much this whole entire week. Like I've never seen so many O line clips on the internet as much as I've seen them in these past few days or since Sunday, if you will. And so, really, man, it's been a doozy. Like it's like people have been, what I'm saying, kind of pointing out everything that's been going on that has went wrong with the O line in that Packers game, and I definitely feel them. I definitely feel the frustration. Um, and the thing about it is, this isn't a new issue. This has been going on for like week. This has been going on all season, and so it started in the Colts game. They gave up 4 sacks in that game. The Bears game, they gave up 3 sacks. I think the Bills game was the only game where they did not give up multiple sacks this season. The only game. Mind you, we played 7 games. So in 6 of those games, they've given up at least 2 sacks, which is ridiculous. And it's not even a ridiculous. And it's crazy to think that in every game, CJ Stroud has been sacked in every game. Like that's really kind of crazy if you think about it. And even though it's like somewhat kind of early in the season, it happened early in the season, and we're nearing the midway point of the season. That's still wild to me. Like every game, like nobody can make a stop. Like, come on now, man. Like it's to me, it's just I think it's just sloppy. And I think I don't know, I think a lot of people kind of overlooked it because we focused on other things like, what is, what I'm saying, what are these penalties doing? What is Tunsil doing with these false starts? You know what I'm saying? And so that's really became because at one week that was like the main issue. The O line was racking up too many pre-snap penalties and all this other stuff. And now it's the O line's giving up too many sacks. So um, it's just some major. I don't know what it is. Like the O line is not been up to par this week, and the numbers show it. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to argue against what those numbers are. They have not been up to par, and a lot it can explain a lot of things. Like a lot of people were like, we haven't been the Texans have not been playing too well. I've heard that thrown around. Like I heard that critique thrown around a little bit. Like the Texans just have not been playing up to that standard that we thought they were going to play, and what I'm saying, it has to be something, and obviously we can kind of see that, right now it's this O line that kind of needs fixing. And D'Amico spoke on it. He was like, whatever it is, everything's on the. He brought up he said the phrase, everything's on the table, which kind of means that he's going to take an aggressive approach to this situation. So whether that means, hey, somebody's getting demoted, fired, whatever, you know what I'm saying? somebody's getting benched. You know what I'm saying? Maybe positions, somebody's switching positions along that offensive line to better accommodate the pass protection. It's I'm interested to see like what changes are going to be made this coming Sunday. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's actually going to be done um, to really address this issue? Because, like I said, like 6 games of multiple sacks, you cannot win in this league, and it just so happens that the Texans are up right now. And I mean, I hate to say it, like, is I don't see a lot of teams that are like challenging to them, especially in proximity. When I mean proximity, I mean like either in the conference, whoever is on that schedule. I think their toughest schedule is like later on in the year. They taking on the Chiefs and the Ravens. What I'm saying, around that same time. And at one point, I thought it was gonna be the Dolphins, but I mean, the Dolphins they got their own issues with Tua, and he just came back, so it's it remains to be seen like what he's actually gonna do as far as like leading that team. But no, for sure this this for sure this O line has to get better, and I I believe they'll get better. You know what I'm saying? Like when they're in the midway part of the season and they have no choice. Competition is just gonna get tougher, no matter what the record is gonna be for the competition. But it's some crucial games coming up too. They had the Jets coming up. They have Detroit coming up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Cowboys are coming up. So you need to get out. You need to get this O line together to make sure this offense is running tight. So that's all I gotta say about that. A couple other things before I get into this game preview. Devin White, we signed him, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, uh, signed with the Eagles in the offseason, but things just really didn't work out. So they let him go. We picked him up. So hopefully he'll provide, some linebacker depth, definitely some production. He has like some quality experience, won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Um, Played in under Todd Bowles defense, so which is a really like pretty good defense. So hopefully he brings some type of production and impact with that. Uh, Final thing before the game preview. Injuries. Aziz Shahir, he's out this weekend, as well as Jimmy Ward. He'll also be out. So um, yeah, definitely. Yeah, those two will be out. So hopefully, um, Devin White can suit up immediately, for sure. And Caleb Bullock, he also might be stepping in for Ward. So, very interesting to see, like how he repeats his performance. You know, I've been seeing him making like quite a few big plays these last 2 weeks. And he's just a rookie out of USC, so um, hopefully he'll be like a real like big time. He'll hopefully he'll continue making some big time impact plays going forward the rest of this year. All right, another coffee break. Mm. So I must close the thing up. All right, so um, Texans are going to be at home hosting the Indianapolis Colts, and this Sunday we're going to be honoring Andre Johnson for his Hall of Fame induction. You know what I'm saying? So, in the midst of that, we are going to be rematching with the Indianapolis Colts, a rematch from Week 1, and that was one of the games I brought up where we first gave up those sacks and everything, and it was a fairly interesting game. And so, I know I kind of said this before, but I feel like this game kind of brings the same thing as that first game. So I know I kind of mentioned that maybe there are storylines that are kind of similar to uh, games the Texans previously played. So with Buffalo, they faced a team that was coming off a blowout loss on national TV, such as they did against Jacksonville the week before. In a sense, in the case of the Indianapolis Colts, they're going to be facing the Indianapolis Colts team that's seeing their star quarterback uh, kind of coming back into action. He was injured for a few games, and he returned last week. So yeah, Anthony Richardson has been back from injury for one game. And it's a game they won or whatever. But they'll also the Colts will also see the return of running back Jonathan Taylor. So it's gonna be it's going to be interesting just to see like where these guys are up to speed. The last game that we played against these guys, it was kind of tough. It was it was kind of tough in there. We won the game 29-27, and Richardson he threw for 212 yards, but he also had a couple of big plays that was close to 120 yards. So the numbers were kind of saying wonky for him a little bit, but um, they still really kept it close, especially with those two big plays for touchdowns that he threw. So, with that being said, this really could be a game um, in which we see. Sorry, y'all, I'm watching this other game. So yeah, with that being said, it's really going to be interesting to see how this one actually plays out, especially with the storylines being similar and all this other stuff. But um, really interested to see like what's going to be different in this game since the week 1 matchup. So uh, Texans just got to do these things to win this game. First one is this first. So number one, first thing about this game, this could be a full circle game for the Texans, and what I mean by that is this is the week 1 is when we first saw this issue with the O line giving up multiple sacks. Gave up 4 sacks in this game. Me personally, I think this could be a full circle game, and it's also fitting that it's coming as the first game off the public declaration of redemption for this offensive line. So you heard Miko earlier in the week talk about, what I'm saying, things are going to get changed around here. The issue is going to get fixed. So this is going to be like kind of the first chance at that redemption for this offensive line unit. So for Tunsil and Green to really just come out there and just really lead the charge and, what I'm saying, just try to turn things around. Really keep a clean pocket for CJ Stroud. The Colts they have a fairly weak pass rush, and it's not. I'm not gonna say weak. Well, I might say weak a little bit, but it's really ineffective. Not much pressure generated from these guys, so um, I think it's going to be a good chance for the O line to really just kind of make themselves look good. But at the same time, I think with the Colts seeing what they saw in Green Bay, because I'm pretty sure they saw it in Green Bay, I think they'll try to implement just a few of those things. So it's definitely going to be vital for the O line to just kind of recognize like or just really pick up any like extra blitzes or things like that. Number two, Texans need to take away the deep plays. So look, the last game, like I said, Richardson threw for 212 yards. Two of those plays were over 50 plus yards. And so without those, like totaling close to like almost 120, it would have looked if he continued with just like his passing, like the numbers would have looked super funny. So in this game, I think it's important that we just take away those deep plays, those big plays. So it would really just kind of like limit their offense and just keep them out of the game. Um, for this offensive unit as well, um, they've been without their starting quarterback and their starting running back for a while now. So really, they're not going to have. So really, they're not going to be listed as like top 5 offense, top 10 offense, anything like that. However, what they are top 10 in is red zone attempts, third down conversions, and rushing touchdowns. So that means what I'm saying, it's taking away the deep plays. It's gonna or long plays or whatever. That's gonna prevent them from what I'm saying, trying to make conversions on third down. It's going to prevent them from setting up for a rushing touchdown at the goal line, or or getting into the red zone and threaten to score. So taking away those deep plays is going to prevent those opportunities and keep the Indianapolis Colts out of the game. Third and final thing, Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell have got to step up and take advantage of the opportunity. It's simple as that. Like, I think a lot coming into the season, a lot of people thought, well, hell, CJ Stroud called us like the five-headed monster. Pause. Yeah, a lot of people, thought this was really going to be um, a demolishing offense. Really powerful offense. And yeah, we can harp on the O line all day, but you know, Diggs and Dale, they just have not stepped up. And we could probably harp on play calling. Slowick, his name has been thrown around in there too, as criticizing some of the plays that he has not been calling. And so, I think really Diggs and Dale just have to kind of step up and step into this light. Nico is going to be out, I think, 2 more games. I think it's at least 4 games for the injured reserve. So this is going to be his third game out, and then he'll obviously be out for the Jets game on Monday night. I mean, not Monday night, but on Thursday night. So Diggs and Dale, they just really have to, kind of step up and be that dynamic duo that we were hoping they would kind of be in Nico's absence. It's been really underwhelming since he's been out of the lineup for these two, but I think they can definitely turn it on. Hell, Stephon Diggs scored the damn touchdown in the first game, so I think he can find an end zone in this one, maybe 2 more times. So we'll see. And also, if we get those two going, and they'll be able to run the numbers up on the yardage, obviously run the score up. This will challenge the Colts' own passing game. Last week, Anthony Richardson threw for 129 yards. Like, come on, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. He's a dual threat. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, quite a bit of rushing yards, and they still won the game. But I mean, listen, it's you're not gonna win very many games like that, and I don't think they have like the defense to really just hold him down like that. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I think get the receivers involved, get Diggs and Dale involved, and just kind of just really just kind of run things up and just see if you can get the score going, so you can kind of you know put them put the Colts away for per se. So, um, that's all I got for y'all this week. Just to go over it. O line, this is their first chance at redemption. And this could be a full circle game, so they have to really redeem themselves in this game against this Colts pass rush. Number two, take away the deep plays. Do not. Anthony Richardson is, he hasn't shown to be like a big time passer, big time runner, yes. Passer, no. So if he tries to sneak in like a big play, just get ready to take that away and just kind of just pedestrianize him, if that's even a word. Pedestrianize him as far as like just keep him real pedestrian like. I don't know why I like the word. Keep him real pedestrian like as far as just getting just trying to get those just real pedestrian like trying to get those points or those passing yards or throwing the ball, whatever. Anyway, and third and final thing, Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell, they have to step up and take advantage of this opportunity of Nico Collins being out. They just had to come in there and really show off, show, like who they are. Tank Dell, this is his second year, but he's shown that he has mad potential going forward. Stephon Diggs, we already know what he can do. Just come back and, come in this game this Sunday and just really show out like you can. So, that's all I got for y'all this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. If you're watching this on Facebook, uh, click the like button, facebook.com/BrandonBlog. Click the like button. I got more content coming such similar to this. If you're watching this on YouTube, like the video and click the subscribe button. So, I'm Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.